We're as ready as we're going to be.
Yay!
Hi, everybody. Welcome. Yay!
Happy Friday.
Happy Friday, everybody. So yeah, I decided to do this instead of Friday Reads because I thought it would be more fun with friends.
Yay!
All talking all the books. So why don't we go around and you guys can introduce yourselves. Rainey, if you want to go ahead and start because you're right beside me here on the screen.
And I'm the newbie. I'm
Yes.
Rainey, and
Welcome, Rainey.
That's right.
And my channel is Rainy Day Reads, which I guess I should have put the whole thing up there, but whatever, I don't care. And I'm fairly new to the romance genre. I consider myself a bitter single lady. So romance and I don't always mix, but I'm giving it a try and I'm enjoying it so far. So I'm definitely, as you guys like to say, a light sider. I definitely
Yes.
like more of the clean stuff.
Yes, we're all a little bit of light siders here.
Okay.
Yes.
And I do have everybody's information below. So if you want to find Rainey and Chloe and Bree, I've got your Instagram link below. So if people are looking for anybody. So Bree, you want to introduce yourself?
Hello, everyone. I'm Bree.
Yay.
Best introduction ever.
Ever, right?
Oh,
I'm
that's
me.
funny. Yeah. How do I follow that?
Right.
Now I feel like I just wanted to talk about myself.
You deserve it, Rainey. Like,
Oh,
you deserve to talk about yourself. We need everybody to know who you are.
That's right.
That's funny.
Okay.
Well, I'm Chloe, and my channel name is Always Booked, and that's it.
And subs today.
Yay!
Yay! High five to us, Chloe.
Yes. Big day.
Yes. Why am I friggin' you stupid? I hate webcams. Oh, it's gonna be one of those. Happy Friday, everybody.
Yay. There you go.
Yeah. You'd think a brand new laptop would have a better camera, but it doesn't. I have to pull out the webcam for it. So I thought that we would start off by talking about what we're reading today and this weekend and things like that. So I will start. I am going to be reading. Oh, Rainey and I are buddy reading this weekend, aren't we, Rainey?
So are me and Bree.
Yay!
Yes,
Go ahead.
What are you
That's
like?
fun. We're going to be buddy reading Just One of the Guys by Kristen Higgins, which will be my fourth reread of the book, I think, and Rainey's first. So
Cute.
it's your first Kristen Higgins.
Okay. Yes. Wait.
Yep. You got it.
And he's got a little.
I think I have a different cover of that.
Yeah, there was an alternate. That was the original cover. They
okay.
One with a new cover. Yeah, I'm going to be listening to it on audio, and I guess Rainey's going to be reading it. You know, old school
I probably will try to find audio too.
Oh, okay.
I'm a slow physical reader, so we'll see what happens. I might have to do audio as well.
And I think I'm going to delve in. Well, I am reading a cozy mystery too, so I'll be enjoying that this weekend. Anything else you're going to be reading, Rainey, or just that?
Well, I'm still reading Morris by E.M. Force, which is kind of a romance. It's a gay romance, but it's not really romantic yet. I'm more than halfway through, and it's not real romantic. But and then what else am I reading? I'm not even sure. That's probably all I'm going to worry about this weekend, because I got my and I'm still in the middle of Chocolat. But
oh yeah, how's that going?
I had to put that aside for a while because I had like 4 different books going at one time, and that's not me. So I had to put one aside, and it was that one.
Sarah, what cozy mystery are you reading?
Killer Kung Pao by Vivian Chen.
Okay.
Yeah, it's my first in the Noodle Shop mystery. It's an e-arc that I got, And I got to tell you, I am loving it. It is so adorable. It's so funny. As I'm reading it, it's our main character, our amateur sleuth, and then she has an older sister. And as I'm reading the book, for all of you who read the Babysitters Club when you were younger, it's Claudia and Janine. Like it's
really?
Janine's older sister who's going to be a lawyer, and then our main character like dyes her hair purple, and she's just doesn't have her life together. And I'm like, that's all I'm reading as I'm reading this. You know what I mean? I'm like, I'm loving this. So it's delightful.
Good.
What about the rest of you?
Me and Chloe are gonna start. Is it Not Like the Movies? Not Like the Movies by Carrie Winfrey. And then I've been slowly making my way through the Jenny Hale. I have this on audio, so I need to just finish it. And then I had a cozy mystery on my nightstand too. So I want to start that. So that's what I'm gonna try. But I'm also trying to do Netgalley. So Chloe finished it, was it this morning or yesterday? The roommate problem.
Yeah, it was yesterday or sometime this week.
I started that one this morning, today, and I'm like 20% in, and it is cute.
Yeah.
It's from Entangled, and like sometimes I feel like I'm too old for Entangled titles. I don't know, but like I'm liking this one, so that's it.
Yeah, and like I'm a hard sell on like short stories or novellas, and it's like 150 pages, and I really liked it. Like I thought she did the atmosphere good, and it was good. I mean, not like exceptional, but it was good.
Awesome.
Yeah, so Bree and I are going to start Not Like the Movies, and this is like one of my most anticipated books this year, so I'm so excited. And so hopefully get some good reading time done tonight and tomorrow. And then I think I'm going to pick up Unleashed by Diana Palmer, because that is my cowboy prompt, whatever the prompt is for Summer Fling. And I'm like nervous about it and just kind of want to get through it and see what I think, because I've heard mixed things about her. And so I don't know, but okay, my dentist is calling me, so I'm going to mute myself. I'll be right back.
No, you're fine. Beth just said she's going to be reading A Highlander in a Pickup Truck, which I finished yesterday. Oh my God, this was so good. It was a 4.5 star. Just, an FYI, I loved this so much. And there are some sexy times, but they're not as graphic, and they're not as like 18 pages long, like.
Okay. Because that
Didn't
would
you
look
have
cute.
a 5-star read?
4.5.
Okay.
4.5. The 5-star today was Beard and Mine by Penny Reed. I just finished it, and oh my God, I think it's my favorite of the Winston brothers. The female lead has OCD, and it was written so well. Like she's in therapy for her OCD, and it was so good, really good. I like that one a lot. Give me 18 pages of smut. Okay, Nicole.
I just saw that. not me.
Yeah, no.
Especially because I listen to these audiobooks while I'm at work. So
no.
I mean, nobody can hear me, but still, it's just like, oh no.
The best is when you're driving in your car and you've got them cranked up and you stop at a stoplight. And you're looking at the guy in the car beside you going, yeah, that's what I'm listening to. You want me to turn it up for
you? My day's going well. How about yours?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh my.
So I know that me and Chloe and Bree have kind of been having some discussions going on about a lot of different things. And I'm sure Rainey could probably pop in with her own 2 cents on some of these things. Did we want to discuss a couple of those things, Bree? Where do you think we should start?
Where should we start?
Where should we start? Everybody grab a beverage and have a seat. We could be here a while.
And please let us know your thoughts.
Yes,
okay,
please let us know your thoughts.
You want to talk about, one of the books Chloe just finished.
Mm-hmm.
It's in the genre that she mostly reads, which is women's fic.
Yep.
And she wasn't a fan of it, right? But like a lot of the reviews that she's been seeing has been, oh, I didn't like it because it was it was more women's fiction. So I guess other readers are going into the book expecting it to be romance. I'm just going to say the title, isn't it? It's Beth O'Leary, The Switch. Okay. Yeah. So we've been really talking, and let us know what y'all think in the comments. Is it fair to should the fact that a book's not what you expected it to be genre-wise be a reason that should that affect your rating? I guess. Because okay, we've talked about the Honey Don't List, right? You enjoyed it. I think it's a wonderful book, but I did go into it thinking it was going to be a romantic comedy, and it's not. Yeah. So I really was struggling with, should that affect my rating, or is that on me as a reader? I think that's me as a reader. Why? I went into it with those expectations, but the authors never said it's a romantic comedy. I just made that assumption
by looking at the cover and knowing their previous work.
Yeah.
And I think it was also on Goodreads listed as a contemporary romance, at least. So that's not all on you.
Okay, guys, what are we talking about?
The Switch. We started
Which one are we talking about?
Switch, yes, and how it wasn't what you thought it was going to be, or what people thought it was going to be. Pardon me.
Well, yeah, I went in expecting women's fiction because Bree from In Love and Words told me that it is not romance, it's women's fiction. So I went in expecting that, and I didn't connect with it at all. Didn't like any of the characters, didn't care about the plot. I was just blah about it.
But I noticed on Goodreads today, on the little blog post thing that they have, they're brand new romance is coming out, and that one is being shown. And I thought, really? Clearly it's not. And if I read the back of the book, I don't think I would have assumed it was a romance.
Yeah. Well, and there are romantic elements. The grandma does online dating, and she, So, I mean, the premise and on paper sounds so good. And so maybe it was my mood too, but I just didn't, and I didn't read the flat share. So I don't know, maybe it's her writing style that is just not for me or something. I don't know.
Yeah. Now, somebody said the promoting. I will say I've had that experience. I read The Perfect Escape by Suzanne Parks. And it's it's this young adult romantic comedy about zombies and stuff. And I felt the zombie aspect was really a small part of the story. And I didn't understand where the young adult romantic comedy part came in. I'm it's teenagers being teenagers. Yeah, some of it's funny, but the book wasn't over the top we expect from romantic comedy. So I was ticked with that. But after I read The Honey Don't List, I was it wasn't promoted as a romantic comedy. We just kind of expect Christina Lauren to do one thing.
I mean, there were some funny parts in The Honey Don't List, but overall, no. I think you're absolutely right, Bree, on what it was. And the romance was very much a secondary plot line in that book.
Yeah.
I mean, I still loved it, but it was still secondary. But I think I'm also not as much of a critical reader. If I liked a book, I liked a book, regardless. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think that's a difference as well, right?
Yeah.
Whereas critical readers might have a different take on it.
Yeah, for sure.
So since you do read, since women's fiction is your jam, do you think it's kind of do you think that it's an age thing? People will kind of relate to it more the older they get? What do you think?
I don't know.
I don't mind women's fiction, but I hear a lot of people say that it's not their thing. But I mean, romance is not a women's thing either. So
yeah. I don't know. And I don't know, when people hear women's fiction, are they thinking chick lit? Are they thinking women's I think women's fiction is, I mean, what does that even mean? Fiction for women? That is stupid.
I don't like the classification. I never have.
I think that's dumb. And so I don't know, I think a lot of people don't like it, but I don't know that I'm talking about, we're all talking about the same thing. And so I think part of it is for me, I just like to see people's stories, and I like to be able to walk with somebody and just experience what they're experiencing. And if it I like when they're more emotional, darker, kind of harder hitting, like Colleen Hoover, those kind of things where it's you're really putting yourself, Brittany C. Cherry. I mean, hers are mostly romance, but where you are really with these people and these people and you're walking with them. And so for women's fiction, obviously for me, that's relatable because I'm a 30-year-old woman. And so I think as a YA, like as a teenager or something, maybe, yeah. But even then, I like to read it because it's like, it's just women's stories to me, like, and that's just the way I see women's fiction. But I don't know how others do.
Mm-hmm.
I think I've always thought, because I am new to the romance thing, so I always thought when I hear chick lit or women's fiction, I always kind of just grouped it into romance because I just assumed that when people are talking about things that women like, it's romance.
Yeah.
So, but now hearing Chloe's definition of what women's fiction would be, I just read Bookshop on the Corner by Jenny Colgan.
Yep.
And I guess I would classify that more as women's fiction.
Maybe. Did you like it?
I did sort of. I thought the ending was like, it seemed like there was no romance. And then it just got all
at the end
in real quick. And then so it was one thing for most of the book, and then a totally different thing for the the last third of the book.
Yeah.
So
she's really hit and miss, I feel like.
I think so too.
Yeah.
I've read
I've ever read.
I want to love her. And they just the two that I've started with, I'm like,
her covers are so cute that it's
like,
no, gotta be good.
It was a cover for me.
Yeah, we've got a lot of conversation in the chat about what's the difference between women's fiction and chick lit. Is chick lit supposed to be more comedic? Somebody else said chick lit is romance, but women's fiction is not. And Sarah talked about earlier. Privately, she was talking about she sees it as kind of a continuum.
Yeah.
And I
said we talk about this all the time.
I know
we do. Yeah.
I don't know, and I mean I think everybody is a little. I always thought chick lit and women's fiction were the same. Maybe chick lit is more later college, right out of college, and women's is more established. To me, chick lit is both romance and women's fiction, or it can be either or. The difference, in my opinion, between chick lit and women's fiction is women's fiction is typically deeper, more emotional, not necessarily light and fluffy and funny, whereas chick lit is just light, fluffy, funny, rom-com, you know, just that kind of thing. So what do you guys think?
Yeah.
I always thought, and this is how I thought before we started talking about it, when you see the UK covers of romances, I thought that was chick lit.
That is
sometimes it is.
That is exactly what chick lit is.
Yes, I was like, okay, so European romance is chick lit because they have the cute covers and they all sound really fun. But I don't know.
Well, I think one of the first books, in my opinion, that was labeled as a chick lit was Confessions of a Shopaholic.
Yeah.
By Sophie Kinsella, which is a UK-based author. Yes.
Mm-hmm. That
is, and I think that's why we have that view that's what it is because that was the first one, right?
And to me, chick lit and women's fiction aren't the same. I mean, they can be the same, but they're I would never call a Brittany C. Cherry chick lit. I would never call a Colleen Hoover chick lit. Those kind of deeper. There's some that are really light, fluffy, and a lot of the UK books are definitely chick lit. But then women's fiction to me is deeper, if that makes sense. Or Catherine Center, some of her all of her books are to me women's fiction because the romance, it depends on the book, but sometimes the romance is more of a backseat. And yet they're just serious, not serious topics you're going to cry, but they're relatable life topics as opposed to just her being silly going shopping.
Yeah. Yeah. And difference between rom-com and chick lit. I think rom-com can also be a lot more explicit. And I think chick lit stays away from being explicit. That might be, not that that's the deciding factor, but it's like a huge gray area that everything gets thrown into. And it's hard to define. And I don't think it's fair to an author to say, you have to put your book in this box. You've got to fit this box. Write what you want to write. But let the publisher or the public or whatever know these are the boxes that it might fit in or that it would fit in. Just so people know what they're getting into. right?
So I wonder what would you because I mean, Mary Kay Andrews is like the queen of beach reads. Is that women's fiction
/
Or
mystery?
is it-
I
or
think
is
she has like her own genre thing
Yeah,
going
because
on.
she is also a little chick-litty, depending on the
She
book.
is.
But
yes,
and somebody too is talking. I can't find where it is in the comments, but about these phrases. We are using chick lit and women's fiction because that's what's commonly known. They do suck as phrases. They're stupid.
Absolutely,
and they're very sexist. Like,
yeah, we're not
they
agreeing
are-
with them.
yeah, we're not agreeing with the phrasing because it is like whatever. But
Mhm.
yeah, so I just wanted to put that out there that
Thank you.
we're not agreeing with the terms. We're just talking about it because that's what everybody knows.
Yeah.
I love whatever us as women love.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
That's like, are thrillers chick lit? Because I know a lot of women that read thrillers, or you know, like
Absolutely. Right?
that's
I
yeah.
think women consume more crime fiction than men.
Yes.
Yeah.
So men should be afraid.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
I am a bitter single woman, so you know.
Yeah.
You are living the dream,
And
man.
Rainey,
Right?
can
As
I just
three
tell
married
you,
ladies.
you are my favorite person for the fact that you are switching back and forth between beer and wine right now.
And I'm a loser with a power range.
I know I've got water, but jeez, that is like seriously, you are gold right now.
Right?
I also have water. Just in
There
case.
you go.
I only had one glass of wine, and I was like, "Well, I'm gonna need more than that for an hour or more show." Jeez.
I get it.
If I had had a whole bottle of wine, it would have been sitting like right behind me.
Just so
I
you're
need
on
one of
camera
those
with the
cups that's like the yeah.
Yeah. Have you ever seen that meme on Facebook or something where it's like this giant thing and she's just like,
Yeah.
it's like, it's Friday.
I wish that was me right now.
I know. If I wasn't so lazy, I don't want to pump and dump.
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny. So Nicole said women's fiction like romance is written by women for women. So yeah, because I mean, there's no, I don't know of any male authors who are writing quote unquote women's fiction.
Okay, but I think I think some men have tried and it doesn't always work out.
Nicholas Sparks.
Yeah. Yeah. Because it's just like the whole point of women's fiction for me is to get in somebody's head and their shoes and walk with them. And if you're not a woman, it's harder to do that. Not saying they can't, but I have not seen it done well.
Let me tell you, every women's fiction novel that Sarah freaking Morgan has written, I'm like, this is some women's. I'm like, I have pages highlighted. I'm like,
yes,
that's so true. That's me. That's how I feel.
Yes.
I just read the second one, The Sunset in Central Park. And
I have got to read that series.
And it was about Frankie, who she's kind of like the man hater one. And she has this friend that she just thinks would never be interested in her. She's like
in love with her.
Down on herself. Yeah. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this woman is me.
Yeah.
Except I don't have a hot friend waiting in the wings for me, but you know. It's unrealistic, but you know, still.
But no, you're right. She is, and like those are her contemporaries. And her women's fiction, if you want to call it that, is fabulous as well.
Yeah.
Like absolutely amazing.
Like Kristen Hanna, I saw somebody mention her in the comments. She does great women's fiction. There's a lot of good, and all of those, you wouldn't consider them. And I almost see women's fiction also holding hands with literary fiction because it's more consumable in my opinion, but it's also The Great Alone by Kristen Hanna. I don't know if any of you guys have read that, but
I haven't read that one
what would you call that? You know, it's maybe women's fiction, maybe literary fiction. I don't know.
You know, is it called
Yeah.
women's fiction just because it's written by a woman? If she was male or whatever, would it be called
Yeah.
literary fiction?
Right.
Yeah.
And I think that's doing a disservice to the writers, to the
Mhm.
authors.
Well, yeah, because as soon as you label something women's fiction, there's a huge population that says, I'm not reading that, I'm not going to like that.
Yeah, historical fiction. Yeah,
Yeah.
that,
Well,
I
The
think it's
Great
labeled
Alone-
historical fiction. Yeah.
The Great Alone, was that historical? I thought that was present day, but maybe it is historical.
No,
I
it
don't
takes place in
remember.
the 70s, doesn't it?
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
You're right.
So I guess it
So
technically
kind of
is.
historical.
And
There you
and her
go.
other one, my favorite by her, The Winter Garden. That one was unbelievable. And that one I would consider to be partly a historical fiction, literary fiction novel. I wouldn't have called that a women's fiction novel.
Yeah. Okay, Faith. She, I think, has more than once mentioned Barbara Delinsky in this chat.
Oh, yeah.
And I just think it's funny because I have Barbara Delinsky and I are not on good terms right now.
And I just
I've
read my first by her and I didn't love it.
Yeah, I've read 15 of hers, and prior to like this year, I would have said I'm a fan, but I just don't think I am.
Maybe you outgrew her. Maybe you outgrew her.
I maybe, yeah. I know. I think I'm going to do a video about people that I've outgrown, or like, and even that's not a good, like, outgrown is not even the right word, because it's like I think my tastes have just changed, and there's some people that I just don't get along with anymore.
So we both like Debbie Maycomber.
Mhm.
And I think that I don't know, I feel like her stuff now is more women's fiction.
Yeah.
I agree.
This on my list.
That one was so good.
I didn't like it.
Oh no,
I haven't read
It's
it.
I
adorable.
haven't read it yet.
Now the one
Neighbor gave
before
this to me.
that, Cottage by the Sea,
Okay.
so good. It was so good. And then so I was excited for that one, and maybe I need to reread it. I didn't really like it. And so I haven't even picked up the new one yet. I'm kind of nervous. I don't
I think this one is going to happen next week for me, so I'll have to let you know. But
Yes, keep
my
us
neighbor-
posted.
yeah,
Post.
my neighbor was reading it outside on our decks because we have, we share walls and things. And she finished it and she's like, "Hey, do you want this?" I'm like, "Oh, the summer fun's coming up. Yes, I do. Thank you."
I think your personal experiences can also alter your reading enjoyment.
Yes.
I hated The Silent Patient because I was going through a divorce when reading that. Oh, definitely.
Yes, 100%. 100%.
Mhm.
Where you are in your life, what's going on, and all those things can make a difference.
Yeah, like right now, I don't want to read anything that's over 200 pages. I just don't.
Right now, I don't want to read anything that's not on audio. Like, I have sat down to read a
Yes.
couple times and I'm like, I just can't focus. I don't know what my deal is.
I mean,
find-
we've literally been in the house. We've literally all been on self-isolation since like March. I think our brains are just like,
Yeah. Like, what is this? What is life? Like, my daughter, my 2-year-old begged to go to the grocery store the other day. And I'm like, you poor child. What is going on? Like, but no, we're not going to the grocery store.
as soon as the kids realize I'm going, they're like putting their shoes on, and I'm like, no, it's dangerous. You need to stay home. It's so hot here, so it's like we can't even go outside. It just, I'm over it. Y'all want to do one random would you rather?
Yes.
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 Okay. All right. Would you rather read a book where the page was missing or a book where the author doesn't know the difference between there, and there?
Oh God.
What page? Where in the book? Where in the book?
Is it the last page?
Do the last page.
I would say I would want that page gone because that would drive me nuts.
But if we listen to it on audio, we won't.
It wouldn't
That's
matter.
true. There you go.
It wouldn't
Loophole
matter,
right
right?
there. I like it.
Rainy.
I would not be able to deal with the grammatical errors in a book.
Yeah.
I'd be like, where was your editor?
Look at all the missing pages we have. Yeah.
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 No one, everybody in these comments listens to audiobooks, and we wouldn't even.
Yeah.
True.
Right?
Okay, hold on. Let's do
That's
one
true.
more.
I listen to audiobooks most of the time anymore, so why do I care?
And if there is a page missing, just go on Goodreads because maybe it's just your copy and somebody else will spoil the end for you anyway.
That's true.
Well, and how often is like there a big spoiler on the last page?
There
Most of
isn't,
the time,
I
most of the
know.
time, you know what's going to happen.
right?
Okay. Let's see. Hold on. I had a really good one. Hold on. Okay. Would you rather have a friend who loses your books or one who dog ears the pages?
Dog ear.
Dog ears.
You wouldn't mind if somebody like, you know.
I mean, I wouldn't be
Have
happy,
you
but I
seen my
wouldn't care.
books? They're like
Yeah.
falling apart because I get them from thrift stores. I don't care.
I don't either. But like, I wouldn't do that to somebody else's stuff.
Okay, that's a fair assessment. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I bought a book new called After the Fog recently, and it's set around my area. So my cousin wants to read it and my best friend wants to read it. And it's giving me extreme anxiety. Like I just gave it to my cousin and she's also moving like 2.5 hours away. And I'm like, please read this before you move. And and please
So I can
don't
get it
ruin
back.
Yeah, please don't ruin it. I don't think I'm getting that back in the same condition I bought it in. I just know it.
Yeah.
I'm preparing myself. I love
Shannon
her,
posted
but-
in the comments. She
Yeah.
says, I only lend out books I'm okay with not getting back. I 100% agree. Lending out books to friends and money, either or, as long as you're okay
Yeah.
not getting it back,
Yeah.
lend it out.
Yeah, exactly.
You're not wrong.
You break it, you buy it.
I know.
I'm one of those people, like I will, if you ask me to borrow a book, I will give it to you. And I would feel like really horrible about giving you conditions about like, do not break the spine of this book. I would like to keep this new. But in my head, I'm thinking, if you ruin
Like,
this book,
yeah.
I will.
You lend out the book with a sticky note on the first page that says,
Yes.
please note.
Yes. These are the rules.
These are the rules.
Rainy's lending library.
And if you agree, please sign here.
Yeah.
I should have done that. I'm going to be drafting that today for future reference.
Oh, that's funny.
Okay, one more. Would you rather lose the ability to read any new books or the ability to reread books you've already read?
I don't want to reread. I mean, I do, but I could give it up.
Yeah.
There's only a handful that I reread. So if you let me know in advance enough, I can reread them and then I can just get on the new stuff. In 1 month, you can only read new books. Excellent.
I know. I feel like with romance, there's very few. Like I reread Miracle on Fifth Avenue by Sarah Morgan every year. But like I don't reread that much because it's like I know they got together.
Yeah.
I know how it ends.
I reread a lot because I reread a lot of classics.
Mhm.
So I like
That's fair.
I do that, but at the same time, if I couldn't, if you like told me I would go to jail for rereading a classic, I'd be like, okay, well, I read it already, so that's fine.
We're okay with it.
Watch the movie.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Right. Exactly.
Start reading adaptations.
Yeah.
There you
Now,
go.
that's a question. So, would you rather only be able to read classics for the rest of your life or young adult novels?
Young adult.
YA. Rainey's the
Oh,
only going to be the only difference.
Yeah.
So I say classics because I feel like eventually some of these young adult novels could be
True.
deemed classics.
Yeah.
So the definition of classics
That's
is
true.
changing.
Mhm.
That's true.
Fair.
True.
What's your favorite classic, Rainey?
Oh, geez. It's a good question. It's hard. I like everything by Jane Austen, pretty much. I'm a Shakespeare nut. My favorite play is A Midsummer Night's Dream
Okay.
by
Mm.
Shakespeare. So
I just feel so dumb when I read that stuff.
Same.
Like,
well, ShakeTube is coming up, and it's in September, so that will be happening. So you can read some Shakespeare with me.
Yeah, I need somebody to read it with me to be so I can be like, wait, so now just tell me what that meant.
Yeah, right.
I remember when I read Wives and Daughters, it was with a big read, and I was like, I would not have finished this book if it was a funny read. It's huge, and it was like
that is
going over my head in some parts.
That's probably one of my favorites, and I just read it for the first time a couple years ago. I was like, this is awesome. I love this.
Really?
And it's sad it's unfinished. Like she died before she got to finish it, so it's like
it's kind of it's kind of that like the last page thing is ripped out because you kind of know at that point what's going to happen.
What is Grade Saver? Oh, they used Grade Saver.
What is that?
It's awesome.
Yeah, what is that?
It's kind
is
of
that like Spark Notes?
Spark Notes?
It's like Spark Notes.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
I discovered it.
No Fear Shakespeare.
Yeah, that's awesome. I actually use that.
The only classic I read in high school was Rebecca by Daphne du Maurier, and it's still one of my favorite books. But that was eighth grade. Eighth grade.
I actually read that. I read that I think in college, and I didn't really like it. And then I got rid of my copy, and then I started seeing it all over BookTube.
Oh yeah,
it's like, what did I miss? Now I need to go back and read it.
Yeah.
So good, Rainy.
I know.
That's how I feel about the flat share, or not the flat share, the Switch. Like, what did I miss? I want somebody to read it and tell me, like, why was this good?
That would be all of 2019. The right swipe. Oh my God, it's 5 stars. Me.
Yeah. Why was this good?
Yeah.
Well Met by Jen DeLuca. I'm sorry. I'm like,
what really?
I haven't read that one yet.
I haven't either.
Oh no.
That's the one about the Renaissance Fair.
Yeah. And I'm all into Ren fairs. I mean, I like Shakespeare, so I'm all about Ren fairs. I'm one of those people
that my Barnes and Noble, I had to pull them aside because they had it in the YA section, and I was like, "Hey, this is not young adult."
Yeah.
So I should be prepared for sexy times.
My chapters had the kiss quoting in YA. Like no. And I haven't read it yet, and I know no.
That's way sexier than Well Met.
I know, right? Yeah. I'm just picturing all these teenagers going home going, oh.
Yeah, right?
And younger teenagers like 12, 13. Mom, I have a question.
Oh, God.
Ask your father.
Yeah. Or Google it.
Google it, yeah.
Google it.
I'm going to win some parenting awards here in 10 years.
Google it.
One of the podcasts that I listened to, they recently talked about Get a Life, Chloe Brown, and they really liked the book, but they were like, the cover is so misleading. Like the book is really steamier than the cover makes, they like looking at the cover, you think it's going to be this really sweet romance, and they're like, it is really sexy.
Oh, no.
Oh, well, I assumed as much because that's what I've heard from people, but I wouldn't have known that by looking at this.
Yeah.
No.
Bree, do you have any more would you rathers?
Yeah, these are fun.
I do. Okay. Not that one. I don't like it.
Did you just read that?
Would you rather have to always read in the dark or always read books with tiny text?
Well, I read a lot of classics, so I read a lot with tiny text anyway, so I'm used to that.
I mostly read on my Kindle, so it's backlit and I can increase the text size, so I don't see a problem here.
You romance readers always find a way to cheat.
Right?
Yeah. I don't know.
No, in reality, I'd go with tiny text.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I can get one of those magnifier doohickeys, like make
That's true.
I don't know.
Yeah, I guess. That's a hard one.
That is a hard one.
Like old romances I've been hauling, they have the really tiny text, and I'm just like, I really want to read this, but I don't.
When a page takes so long to get through, I'm like, this is killing me.
Yes.
Even if it's good, it's annoying.
I use
Years
a
ago.
bookmark to go down.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Page. Yeah.
That's a
Makes
good
it
idea.
easier.
Yeah.
Years ago, we had a blackout at our old apartment, and Garrett was at work, and my phone worked, but my Kindle was dead. Like it had died like an hour earlier, and I had like no charge on it. So I'm trying to read a physical book, and I got like my phone with the flashlight option on.
Oh no.
I'm like, I'm gonna kill my eyesight.
No, my favorite reading light. You remember the movie 16 Candles? The girl with the red
Oh,
paint.
yeah.
That's what my reading light looks like. Like
That's awesome.
Okay,
I need one of those.
Would you rather read in an isolated cabin that was infested with spiders or in a noisy coffee shop with bad music?
Coffee shop every
coffee
day.
shop for sure.
I'm itching already.
Yeah. And I like a noisy coffee shop. I like
Me too.
distractions like that. I mean, like those
In the
don't distract
cabin,
me.
we could go outside. We could just go
I
outside.
don't know.
That's right.
Check out my
No, we
question.
got
What's your question?
move on to the
Andy?
next question.
Andy had a-
And I see Steph had one too, but hold on.
Yeah.
What's the-
small town romance or big city?
Big city. We've talked about this.
Depends on where you live.
I'm small town.
If you
I
live
like
in a
small
small town, you want the big city, and if you live in a big city, you want the small town.
It's
I
true.
don't know. I live in a semi-small town, and I still like small town.
But you live right near Pittsburgh, don't you?
I do. I live about an hour north of there, so my community is more rural, but it's not like super small. Like we have super small towns around us, but ours is like suburbs, maybe.
Is there any Amish around you?
Not right. Well, actually, I take that back. Yes, about a half an hour from us, there's an Amish community. Yeah,
Cool.
so
That
it's
I've
not
always
a-
thought that's so
It's
interesting.
called Valant. So, yeah, most of them though are in Lancaster, Lancaster,
Oh.
which is about 5 hours from me. So
here's the
Okay.
question. What do you consider a classic? Is a historical only a historical if it's written about the past? Would a book like Pride and Prejudice be considered a contemporary or historical? I would consider Pride and Prejudice to be a classic, period. I wouldn't label it as contemporary or historical, but that's me.
maybe they mean like, is it historical fiction? Which no. Historical fiction is more of a thing that is written now about like Jane Austen's time. Or
Agreed.
set in Jane Austen's time. So if you would be doing a readathon and they'd say historical fiction, and you would say, well, I'm going to read Pride and Prejudice, that's not technically historical fiction because she was writing in the time period that she was living in. So
It would have been a contemporary for the time. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
So are classics, are they considered classics just because they're old books? Or are they classics because they were written a long time ago and people are still reading them? Like I always ask, deem the book a classic? Because now I even hear modern classic, like I hear it's a modern classic, and I'm like, it's a good book, but there are people who don't like it and wouldn't consider it a classic. Period. I don't know.
Yeah, I think.
I don't know.
I would say, as the classic reader, I would say that I've heard that they. And it's pretty much whatever anybody wants to say, but the modern classics seem to be more from like the 1950s on, like 1950s to 1970s would be considered a modern classic, and then anything from like World War II back would be, well, I guess that's a big span of time, and I just like, I mean, there's still more. So from like maybe from like the 60s on would be considered a modern classic. 50s or 60s on would be considered a modern classic. So, but yeah, I would say that it's something that's like stood the test of time more than anything, because not everybody's going to like it. I mean, there's plenty of people that don't like Jane Austen, and I'm like, she's the best ever. And so, but I don't think that they would. The people that don't like her, I don't think that they would say that it's not a classic. You know,
No,
they would
no.
just be like, I don't like it. You know.
So let's talk about these things. Okay, so Shannon in the comments just said contemporary is tricky because it feels more like a time period than a genre, but because it's used to describe a book, I feel it feels like it's become a genre.
I agree.
And so I agree. And then also YA and new adult. Those are age groups. Those are not
Don't
genres
get me
to
started
me.
on new adult, please. Don't get me started on new adult.
I don't think I've read any new adult.
Is that a publishing thing or a marketing thing? Like who
It's a marketing
is
thing.
making that a genre?
I think it's a marketing thing personally. I think because there was such a resurgence in the last, like we saw it. If you've been on BookTube for 10 years, you've seen the YA booktubers go crazy. And then all of a sudden they're getting older. They needed something to bridge the gap. And they wanted more adult content because the adult content was appearing in the YA novels, but now they wanted more. They want it to be graphic. So they put this label on it as new adult to bridge that gap. That's my opinion. But it's not a genre.
Yeah.
Well, and like new adult now, like I think if I say I read a new adult, most people would assume it's pretty smutty and, you know, like these certain characteristics where, I mean, I don't understand. Wouldn't any like 18 to 25 or whatever the new adult range is be a new adult?
Yeah, if that's what you're classifying it as an age group and not a genre.
Right.
Right? But you're right. There's a gray area. Like they're saying new adult is, like you said, 18 to let's say 24, right? The main characters. What book was it that I just read? Beard Science in the Winston Brothers series. The female lead is 22. So would that not now classify this book as a new adult? Do you know what I'm saying? Like you can't, I don't know. That's my issue with new adult is that it's too much of a gray area.
Well, and like Tia is saying, new adult is only in the romance genre though, right? There aren't new adult fantasies or science fiction, are there?
Yeah.
We the only one that got a new adult. And I'm sorry, because I've been looking for paranormal romances to read. I want to read some paranormals, and there's a lot on Kindle Unlimited that are new adult, and I'm like, girl, I'm 33.
Yeah, I know.
20-year-old chick. I'm sorry,
getting on with an alien.
I feel like I fit that whole genre. I mean, I went straight to adult romance, but I mean, on BookTube, I feel like the new adult is what everybody wants to hear about. So
absolutely.
Yeah.
And I know I read another book recently as well that when I was putting my review out on Goodreads, I looked at the tags or the labels or whatever. It was labeled new adult, and I went, "What?" The lead characters were in their mid-30s. I'm like, so I'm a lot younger than I anticipated. I'm just out of new adult, so I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm still out of
I just became an adult recently, guys.
41, I haven't figured out adulting yet, so it's fine.
Yeah, 37, I don't know where my life is going. So.
Right.
This is our own women's fiction, okay? This is our
there you go.
Yeah, they go right from new adult to women's fiction. There's no break in between.
Check out Molly Harper and Mary Janice Davidson. I will. Thank you.
I have a Mary Jane Davidson from Netgalley to read, and I've read Molly Harper. Did she not write something about the werewolf? How to date a werewolf? It was a delightful, and I'm not a paranormal person, and I loved it.
So I'm sorry, Tia's just making me laugh. She says, "Are we going to make an elderly adult category?" I think we should.
Idea. Oh my gosh, like a geriatric one? Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, didn't you just say, Chloe, in the Switch that the grandmother's doing online dating?
Yeah.
We've all read those romances where they have an elderly grandmother who's like, right? I want to read just about them.
I
don't even want to online.
So then back to what Bree was talking about, are women's fiction just for people of this age group? No, because I would love to read some elderly romance, and I'm not there yet. But so I don't know.
Some days I feel it, but you know,
they're silver romances over 40, Steph. Shit,
what?
Shoot.
What?
Shucks.
Oh, you're fine.
Silver romances.
I think I'm seeing a lot of those on Kindle. I think I have a couple of books that I think they're more women's fiction. They kind of look like beach reads because there's a whole genre on Kindle Unlimited of like beach covers. Women have a house on the beach, and they all seem to be older women. So, I mean, I need to read them and actually see, but I do think there's like a whole subgenre out there, maybe.
Oh yeah.
Would this one be considered then the sober?
Well, see, that's a good question because the lead females in that had college age children.
Yeah. So
yeah.
Right.
I mean,
so they would be older. They were in their 40s, and I do love reading books that the characters are in their 40s. You know.
Yeah.
I think it's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like romance in life doesn't end at
No,
30.
it doesn't. It doesn't.
Well.
And then to that,
Rainy, I'm kind of with you on like the whole romance is a little overrated, but
You guys do like covers like this. I think a lot of the heroines in these books that I'm finding on Kindle Unlimited, I think they're older. I don't know.
Mature. They're more mature.
Sure.
But it's the same as I would like to see more romances about married couples.
me too.
Because it doesn't end at when you get married. Anyone who's been married knows that.
I've actually read a lot of, like, surprisingly, a lot of the romances that I've picked up have been about married people. I just read To Have and to Hoax. That was about a married couple. Sarah and I read the Bromance Book Club. What did I just finish that was about married people? Despised and Desired. I just finished that today, and that was about a married couple. So yeah, I've been reading a lot of romance about married couples lately.
Well, that's good.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and I actually enjoy that. I kind of like that better.
That you see, it's not all it's cracked up to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's
Makes me
like
feel better.
with the story, like, okay, they got together and that's a happy ever after. Like, no, that's when the work starts.
That's
Right.
Factor in kids. Like we talked about this a couple of days ago. Like, what about, if they have problems getting pregnant or they do have a kid and it has special needs? Like, show us a couple working through all of that stuff. I feel like there's so much that could be done with people that are already together.
Absolutely.
I agree.
Yeah. Definitely.
And that, we had that whole discussion on that, didn't we? And the fact that you don't need to be married and have the kid to be happily ever after either.
Yeah.
You know?
Okay. Y'all ready? I got another one. I got two.
All right, go for it.
Okay.
Would you rather write the best book of your career and never publish it, or publish a bunch of books that leave you feeling unsatisfied?
Okay, this is just what we were talking about with like Christina Lauren and stuff. Like, would you, all these people who are upset that they moved out of the lane they were in, would you rather they write a bunch of crap that they don't care about or write what they want to write?
It's write what you write, what, like the first one, write the best book ever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have written one book and I self-published it, but it was like back in the day when I didn't know how to self-publish things. I just wanted it bound, basically. So it's like 50 people bought it. And they were my friends, pretty much.
What's it called? I want to buy it.
I don't want to say because I don't want
come on, Rainey.
It's called Ruby's Road. And I enjoyed writing it. And my real name is Lorraine, so it's Lorraine Martin is the author. But,
I love Lorraine.
I do too.
I actually go by that at work and stuff, but
oh really?
Yeah, but Rainey is actually what everybody my whole life until my adulthood called me. So.
I love that.
That is so cute. So my favorite aunt is Barbara Lorraine. And so we had talked about Lorraine and somehow in Annie's name, but we obviously didn't do it. But now, like thinking about Rainey, I love that. If we have another girl, it may be your namesake.
There you go.
Yeah.
That would be exciting. I've heard of a few people that's their like actual name.
Rainey.
Yeah. So I think the actress Andie MacDowell, her daughter's name is Rainey. So
cool.
Yeah. No, I always thought that was kind of cool. But yeah, anyway, so I wrote a book and it was kind of recurring dreams from my childhood that I kind of put into like a fantasies, like a little I would
Oh,
maybe
Oh,
call it more
that's
middle grade
fun.
now. Yeah. So it's cute and I mean I'm proud of it, but at the same time like I don't say much about it because I don't want people to bash it on because I just
Oh,
Yeah.
like
no, I understand that.
I just did it for me, basically,
yeah, that's
And
awesome.
yeah, so it's pretty much the only book I've ever finished. I've done NaNoWriMo a few times, but I never really finished anything completely. So, but yeah, so for me, I would rather just write one book and be proud of it than
Mhm.
Yeah.
than a
Mhm.
bunch of books and be like, eh.
Yeah.
Stuff out there. Yeah. Oh my God, the Nicholas Sparks chat.
Controversy,
I
yeah.
I
know.
know.
I've never been a fan of his, to be completely honest.
Mm.
He just didn't do anything for me.
I've read two. One a long time ago, and then whatever that one that came out a couple of years ago, which wasn't bad, but then all that stuff happened and came out about him. So I haven't read.
Yeah.
Okay. Would you rather read a book that is written poorly but has an excellent story, or read one with weak content but is written well?
Wait, say that again?
Yeah.
Okay, would you rather read a book that is written poorly but has an excellent story, or read one with weak content but is written well?
First
Well,
one.
I think the second, because if it's written well, I mean, I'll care about it even if it's not like some character-driven things that are like no real plot, but they're written really well. I don't mind those occasionally.
No.
Tia, neither.
Yeah.
Play hard neither.
I agree, Tia.
This one got good. So Heather said written well. Steph said weak content. Nicole said written well. Faith said great story.
Mandy
that
said
would
depends
go.
on how much banging it is.
Yeah, that's Mandy, I love you.
Yeah.
I think I would go with story. I don't know because I feel like I would have.
But I
fun
feel
critiquing the writing.
Yeah.
As well
I
as the
feel like
story.
that is almost what the switch was for me. Like on paper, it was a great story, but the writing just was not good for me.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And it was torturous to get through. It took me
You
like 3
haven't read
days.
the other one, right, Chloe? You haven't read.
Mhm.
Do you think do you want to go back and read it?
I mean, not right now. maybe someday, but and definitely on audio, I think. I'm just a little salty with her right now. So it was a Netgalley read. It was like, do you want to connect with this author? No. Sorry, but no. No, I don't.
She read The Switch, Steph. Yes, she read The Switch.
I read The Switch and gave it
Yeah.
2 stars.
I love that she knew that.
How many
Yikes.
Netgalley books do you have? Like, how many do you have right now?
Me?
I know
Only
Steph,
4, 3 or 4.
I have like hundreds. How many do you have, Sarah?
Sarah,
240.
Oh my gosh.
Rainy, do you use Netgalley?
No, I don't. I haven't.
Okay,
gotten
why
to
not?
it, though.
It's
I
a
don't know,
dangerous,
because-
dangerous rabbit hole.
Because it gives me anxiety because I'll be like Sarah.
240.
246 to be honest.
That would give me too much anxiety. Oh no, I couldn't.
Yeah, I couldn't do that. I only allow myself to get on there like once a month, and so then I click what I want to click, and that's it. And like I really only get things that I've heard about or I know the author. I don't even like go into reading plots normally because otherwise I will be like Sarah for sure.
Mhm. Yeah, Steph's in my boat.
Oh man.
She's got
So
100
is
due.
Tia.
I'm right around 100 due as well. Yeah.
Tia said you just made her feel so much
94.
better.
I don't feel bad. I think I have like 25. And that makes me nervous.
That was my husband's on
that would make
Netgalley,
a
and he's
difference.
like, he goes, I have 2 that I need to review, and I just looked at him like 2,
Too.
2.
That's funny.
Silly boy.
I know, right?
I haven't been approved on NetGalley yet. Keep trying.
Mm,
Keep trying, because I remember when I first was approved, I was like, oh my gosh. And I still get denied for a lot of stuff, but
I might try.
And they don't even tell me
so
when I get denied. I'll just be like, whatever happened to that book? And then I'll pull it up and it's like, you were denied for this.
denied.
So can you
it's not
get
my
any
fault they
kind
keep
of
saying
thing?
it's okay.
Oh yeah, Heather, that's the same. I'm a mood reader. So like when I do finally get approved, I'm like, I don't really want to read this book anymore.
Yeah, see,
Yeah.
I'm not a mood reader, so I can get through
I'm
these.
not really either, so I could do
I'm so
that. I
jealous
just
of
think
y'all.
that
Shannon, yes, they do have the available now or the read now section.
Yes, that's how
still.
Garrett started getting into and getting approved for other things.
I think
Yeah.
my problem is with doing NetGalley is I read so many classics that I don't really understand. I don't know new things, and so I don't know what I would request.
What to look for. Yeah.
Yeah, no,
Right.
that's
I don't
fair.
really
That's
know
fair.
new authors and stuff, but I don't know. I would be interested to try it. But
Did you
I
read
don't
that
know.
book, The Jane Austen Society?
Yes, I'm actually reading that in a couple of weeks with somebody.
Okay.
But yeah, but yeah, so like stuff like that. If I would start to kind of read more newer things, I probably would get into it. And I'm starting to, but they're usually within a specific thing, like Jane Austen related things. Which how often does that come up?
Do you like classic? Do you like historical fiction at all?
Yeah, I do.
You do?
Yeah, so that's another. It's probably my second favorite thing: classics and then historical. Well, cozy mysteries. I like.
Oh,
those.
yes.
Yeah, and they have a lot of cozies on there.
There are a
on
ton of
NetGalley.
cozies. Oh, yes.
All right, you
A
may
ton.
have convinced me.
Kensington.
Yeah.
Kensington. They have mysteries all the time.
Oh,
I honestly, my list on NetGalley is about half romance and half cozy mystery.
Oh, okay. You
Yes.
might have convinced me then.
You're welcome.
You have,
So tomorrow, Rainey will be like rocking in a corner with 300 books on her shelf.
There'll be an Instagram post of me like.
Yeah, like what did I do? Sarah made me do it.
Just blame me for all the things. It's fine.
You do it.
I was that kid in high school where it's like, Sarah told you to do that, right? I'm like, yeah, that was me. I'm the one who convinced everybody else to do things. So, you know.
All right. Well, makes sense that we're friends then.
That's right.
Have you guys, Sarah or Bree or anybody in the comments, have you guys done the NetGalley audio? Because I read The Switch That Way and What You Wish For by Catherine Sinner, and both are really echoey. And I've heard somebody else say that they had that problem. Like the quality is kind of weird, but I mean, it's an ARC audio, so I'm guessing it'll be fine once it comes out. But I don't know if maybe it's a me problem, like a technology problem or what.
I have enough on my NetGalley shelf. I do not need to get into their audiobooks. Thank you very much.
They don't have very much.
Staying
yet.
away.
Wasn't it when you did your first one, Chloe? Didn't it take a really long time to download or something?
Yes. Yes, it was Books with Shay that said audio was weird.
Oh, okay.
And so did Jess from Me to You. Yeah.
I haven't even I don't know. Like the 20 that I have, I feel like is enough. Like it doesn't even sound appealing to me.
Yeah.
And plus I've heard everybody say they don't really have a lot on there anyway. So
yeah, they don't.
Well, and that's the other thing. You know?
I got auto approved by Macmillan though for audio, and I'm like,
awesome.
What? Like, so, but they have like 3 titles on right now. They have a couple more than that, but
that's awesome. Though.
They'll disapprove me for forever, and I was like,
yay! I need to go watch that thing with Laura from Watch Read Next podcast about the upcoming Forever stuff.
Yeah, they have some stuff. They have some good stuff coming out.
Yeah, you told me about the 12 Dogs of Christmas, Brie, and I went and requested it and was approved for it. So
It's so cute.
I have a problem.
I'm ready.
Dogs of Christmas.
Yes.
Yes, I think it's a cozy, is it not, Brie?
It's
I
a
know.
contemporary romance.
Oh, is it a contemporary? Oh,
Hold on.
Sarah, you just go click it. You don't even care.
I'm like, oh, look at that cute cover. I must have it.
This is their Christmas title. Here it is, Rainy.
Oh yeah, they have to
All right.
find homes for all the 12 dogs.
Yeah, it sounds so good.
Mm-hmm.
All right,
Mhm.
I'm putting it on my Goodreads.
I
Talk amongst yourselves.
If someone doesn't buy a book during a live show, did the live show actually happen?
Nicole and Steph, wherever you are, I also got approved for this. It's like short stories.
And Chloe and I turn red.
I know.
Oh, me too. Me too.
Okay.
How do people hear about upcoming books? I don't even know where I would look.
Oh, I look in
Netgalley.
yeah,
Netgalley.
Netgalley and the coming soon section on Kindle.
Yes. I mean, I actually think a lot of my recommendations I get from watching YouTube
Mm-hmm.
and Instagram.
Yeah.
Yes.
I get a lot of recommendations on Instagram.
And, you know, if you know there's certain authors that you really like, you just kind of know that they've got a new book coming out because you follow them and things like that. You know, if the author themselves post on Instagram or something.
Or like almost all publishers have some sort of newsletter. So if you really like a certain publisher, you can go to their website and get their newsletter.
Subscribe.
And yeah, they will send you what's coming up.
And that's the thing about For Forever, like whoever's thinking of, I mean, subscribe to their newsletters, but like not all publishers care about how big of a following you have. That's one thing Estelle says in that chat with Laura. Like they don't care about your following count. If you review books somewhere, they'll start working with you. So
yes.
Yeah.
Go for it.
I've heard her say that in multiple places. Like if you tell your friend about a book, then you're an influencer of some, you know, doesn't matter how many people you have listening to you.
Oh, Winter Garden was so good. I'm just seeing some of the people's comments. It was so good.
Yeah. I love Kristen Hanna.
Yep.
I have some of her really old ones that are all like mass market, and I don't know what they are, but I'm excited to try them.
Is she the one that wrote, it's this really popular World War II book, and I can't think of
The Nightingale.
The Nightingale.
And I actually didn't like that one.
You didn't?
I haven't read it yet.
It's really long, and it was just okay to me. Like, which the chat might blow up right now because I know I'm very much in the minority, but I didn't love it.
And that's fair.
I just remember when I first found book 2, Reagan from Peru's Project used to talk about it all the time.
Yeah.
And
my favorite from her is Firefly Lane. Well, I don't know if it's my favorite, but I love Firefly Lane. But it's a duology. There's a second one that like ruins it. I hated the second one. And so like the first one was like 5 stars and the second one was like 2 stars. And I think it's Krista. I don't think she's in the chat anymore, but from Books and Jams, she's about to read the second one. And I was like, don't do it.
I'll tell her. I'll be like,
yeah, well, no, I told her, but I think she's going to do it. And it's been a long time since she read Firefly Lane. So I think that might help because I read them back to back. So I was like on the high wanting it to continue. What is that?
If anybody got approved for this title, and there it is, Her Night with the Duke. Supposedly the heroine's like half Arabic, so we'll see.
Okay, I'm interested.
I'm interested.
Yeah.
Hello, Netgalley. It should just be the main page on my laptop when I open it up. Shannon asked, Kristen Hanna is definitely historical fiction or a women's fiction.
Or women's fiction.
She's not, it's not romance. I wouldn't classify her as romance.
Yeah.
And I miss reading historical fiction. I just feel like everything is World War II, and no shade to World War II. But I'm like, can we pick something else?
I'm the same.
But like I think I was telling you guys, I like to read, if I'm going to read historical, I want it to be about a time that I know a lot about. And I mean, I think it's the American school system or something. That is like the only point in history that is really like drilled in, and that I really feel confident that like I know the context of World War II, and other times I don't. And so then I end up spending too much time like focusing on the context and not the story. And so World War II, it's like I can jump in and I know exactly what's going on in the world for the most part. And so I can enjoy the story more. Yeah. But I agree. I mean, historical fiction is overrun with World War II.
Learning how to use this. I'm trying to do this without a mouth. My apologies.
Speaking of historical stuff, does anybody have any Victorian romance suggestions? I'm like asking in the chat because I know there's a lot, obviously Regency romance is a thing.
Regency romance is huge.
Yes. And I've read a few of those already this month. but Victorian, because I really love Victorian era stuff as well. so if anybody has, and
I'm just looking
on the lighter side of the sexy times.
There is Harlequin. Harlequin has done a number of Victorian in their historical line.
Ooh,
so after I'll have a look at, because I can't remember the titles off the top of my head, but I'll have a look for you.
Because a Victorian is, what's the years, Rainey?
Victorian is, Katie from
I know, I like where's Kate now?
It's from
Google it.
I'm gonna have to look
because
it,
like I think Beverly James's titles are technically in Victorian era. I think Joanna Schutz's it's set in New York, but I think the time period is technically the Victorian era. I'm trying to Google it.
It's 1837 or I can't read. 1837 to 1901.
Yeah. I knew it was till 1901. I couldn't remember if it was.
And there's so few that's what gets me is there's so few romances written in the Victorian time period.
I know,
but yet every other book is Regency, but Regency lasted like a month and a half. Didn't it? Like
and there weren't
it was like 5 years or something.
That would be
there weren't that many dukes running around.
And I looked it up once. There were only 24 actual dukes during the Regency period. I'm not making that up.
Really?
There were only 20, but yet every month 24 new duke stories come out.
Well, they were getting it on apparently. These
Clearly
guys were having the time.
Yeah, I think there are a lot actually set in that period. We just don't think about it. We just are like,
yeah, it was 1811 to 1820 was the Regency period. So for 9 years, they've written 1 million books on a 9-year time period.
So the Victorian era was way longer.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Longer.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's true. Shannon said because they were a lot more strict during the Victorian time period. You're right.
True.
That's probably what.
But maybe that's why I like it, because I don't like all the sexy times.
Yeah. Well, and obviously people are still getting it on. Yeah. I mean, they still have babies.
Right.
But I want you to court me. I don't want you to try to get in my pants. I just want you to court me.
Yeah. Rainey, I think we would be great friends.
I think we would too. I
don't want you to get in my pants. I just want you to court me.
Y'all have that book. That book.
What is that?
Here, hold on, Bree.
You have it. You have the physical copy.
Yes.
So good.
Read this. Read this. It was fabulous.
Okay.
What is it?
Read that for Victober.
Unmentionable: The Victorian Lady's Guide to Sex, Marriage, and Manners.
Yes.
It was hilarious.
It's like nonfiction.
It's essentially it's as if you were dropped into the Victorian time, and this was your guidebook on how to survive as a woman. What you wore. It was so good. And then for you Chloe, she had a sequel called about raising children in the Victorian time period.
Oh, really?
Yes.
I remember in Unmentionable, she showed a picture of like what women's stomachs looked like when they would take like the garter, whatever the thing was.
The girdle.
Having so many kids, this is what your stomach would look like. And I was like, oh God.
I can only imagine.
It's so good.
Oh no. Oh God.
There you go.
Oh man.
Oh,
it was so good.
No wonder there's not a lot of sexy romances.
Yeah, okay,
It's
never
like-
mind. There's not going to be any.
Yeah.
And that's what she says. She's like, it's such a romanticized era. She's like, but people stunk. Like you didn't get to bathe every day. She's like, there's really nothing sexy about it.
No.
There's a book that I did read last October called How to Be a Victorian. It was really good. It goes through from like morning till night, and then like in between, like some of like from like how basically the day-to-day life of a Victorian, and it's from actual historian who basically has lived like that. Like she lived on a farm and pretended to be a Victorian for like a year or something like that. So
I remember seeing that book. I think I need to read that one.
Yeah, it was really good. I liked it. I can't remember the author's name off the top of my head.
Ruth Goodman.
But yes, yeah, it was really good.
Are any of Philippa Gregory? Are any of hers Victorian? I read the other Boleyn Girl. Isn't that around then? Or no?
No, I think that was earlier. I think that would have been more like Shakespeare time.
Which one?
The other Boleyn Girl?
Boleyn Girl.
Yeah, I think so.
I think that's. I mean,
I want to read Tidelands by her.
Yes, that's what I was thinking. It's like a kind of like witchcrafty-ish.
Oh,
it sounds really good.
Tudor.
Yeah.
The Boleyn was Tudor. Thank you. Thank you, people in the comments.
I knew they were smart.
They're a lot smarter.
I know. I have no idea.
They wore the high collars and, like.
I know things if I can Google them, but not on the
Google tells me everything.
Wine and beer. I don't know things.
1500s. Yeah, that's a bit too far back in history for me. Like medieval, the one I know. Shannon, she's in the comments. She likes the Viking and the medieval stuff. It's not one that I've ever gotten into because, again, we were talking about being like dirty and not bathing. I'm just thinking, ooh.
Yeah, sexy.
Like, there's nothing sexy about that. I'm sorry.
Well, maybe after your weekly bath.
We'll see that.
Yeah, there you go.
This is true.
That was when the children were conceived.
Oh, I do love that idea. Shannon said she wants to do a historical romance reading challenge and read something from each time period. That would be fun.
Ooh.
That would be Shannon.
Fun.
We might have to put that on the back burner and do that. Mm-hmm. That would be a lot of fun.
What time periods are we talking?
If you let me jump in on that with you, Shannon.
Because you know what, like talk historicals, like I want to see more romances. Like you think about like the Vietnam era, right? And how much that war changed the culture and the world period. I'm like, where are the romances? I went to the library one time and I asked, like, do you have any books on this? And the librarian was like, it's still fairly new. And I'm like, it was like 1960s. What do we mean? It's I would love and more Roaring 20s.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. To that.
Cold War era. Something recently that was.
But like, writing about Vietnam would not be hard to write an emotionally charged novel.
Yeah.
And what was that one that Alyssa Cole wrote during the Shine the Light? It was a novella during the Civil War. Oh, that was so good.
Yeah.
That was so good. Again, a time period you don't hear a lot about, right? Like
Reconstruction era. I think I've only seen Beverly Jenkins do that. They're just like, let's bring it up a little bit.
Yeah.
What Gilded Age is. That would be interesting too.
Yeah. That'd be the next.
I have to just sit down.
That's what she's doing, I think, with one of her series. I think it's set in Gilded Age, New York.
Oh, really? Yes.
Ooh, for cozy mystery people, I believe London Lovett has a cozy mystery set in the 1920s in like Hollywood.
Oh.
So I forget what Starlight something Starfire or something. I forget what it's called, but it's set in the 1920s.
1870s to 1900s is the Gilded Age. Trekking across on the Oregon Trail to California, that would be fun too.
Yes.
I actually think I have a couple of those.
Yeah. You
Because
have
I
died
got
of
second.
dysentery.
Before they used to have like these boxes and they would sell the Native American romances that like are very problematic. But I was just like getting them like they're 20 cents. I gotta get them. And I think a couple of them do have like Oregon migrating west type storylines. So it'll be interesting to see.
Yeah, no, they would be fun. No, that would be really interesting to try and figure out. I think there's a historical romance book club on Goodreads, and they do one every year where they have like, here's a list of all the different time periods, and then they encourage you to read it. It's a challenge every year, so I might have to go and have a look at their list and see what they've got on there. Maybe add some more.
And that's what I want to, like the Gilded Age. I wouldn't mind because from what I hear, like I just don't. I get the Dukes and stuff, but like I want to I like reading men that like work.
Right.
That
Thank
is
you.
why I like cowboys, I guess, because you hear about them working with their hands. You know, it's like you're just like rich because you were born into like a rich lifestyle. Like
That's right.
I like men that are actually working.
They don't go out and work or do anything except for like wander their fields and look at their tenants and stuff like that. You know, like
Right. You are just rich off of somebody else. My sister always died of dysentery.
That's right.
I was reading.
Y'all, I remember we played that every day in elementary school, like before class, but we never actually learned anything about it in school.
Yeah, us either.
No.
As a Canadian, I didn't.
I'm shocked.
What about reading romances with
Missing out.
generations in mind, like the greatest generation, Generation X, baby boomers, millennials? You know what? I wouldn't mind some 1950s housewife romances.
Right?
Yeah.
Oh, that's what these are. Hold on. That's what the old Harlequins. Again, this would be considered a contemporary because it was written in 65.
That's what I need. Like the Southern 1950s. Let's just do that. A little bit of that.
Yeah.
Sipping their mint juleps. And
Does
you know
anybody
what?
in the chat have questions for us?
Yeah, by all means. Please.
Or would you rathers or any of that kind of stuff?
I'm trying to think, like, what old books do I have? I don't know. I have a lot of old books, but I think the oldest is like the 60s.
Steph.
Where in the world is Carmen Sandiego?
Steph.
Oh.
You know they remade her and put her on Netflix, Steph. Like, and the show is really good.
Really?
It is.
Oh.
Leave It to Beaver. Yes, it's good.
Oh, I love it.
I'll leave it to Beaver. Yes.
Wait a minute. Mary Tyler Moore was Dick Van Dyke. My bad. Never mind.
Yes.
She had her own show.
That's
All
so
right.
funny.
I'll ask. Let's do one more. Would you rather?
Sure.
Okay. Let's see. I don't like that one. I doubt we've read those books. I mean, y'all might have, but I know I haven't. Would you rather read a book with no page numbers or no chapter numbers?
No chapter numbers because
No chapter.
if it's
Yeah.
I mean assuming they have chapters, but like some books I read are like different perspectives, so they don't have chapter numbers, they just switch perspectives, or
Agreed.
it's like different days or something.
Yeah, I track my pages, so I want to know.
Right? Thank you. Exactly.
I'm typing.
Exactly.
I have to know these
Would
things.
you rather read a book that transports you to the past or the future?
Past.
Past.
Future.
I'm not looking forward to the future, so. Sorry, wait. Sorry, that was my bummer personality coming.
Wah, wah. Except
Sorry.
Rainey, you're the only one that hasn't been disappointed by 2020.
No, I have been.
Well, you're right.
Yeah.
Everybody's saying past. Like the past is
Mhm.
horrible, guys.
No,
Yeah.
But it's the enemy we know.
You're right.
I was
You're-
born in the wrong era, so
I
I
say
could
future.
deal with not having a bath for a week if I could live in some other era. If everybody's doing it, why not?
I'm sorry, y'all, but I'm not going back to the past. I'm not built for those conditions. But I like reading the few time travel stories when the person comes to the future because it's like total fish out of water. They're like, what is this shower thing you speak of?
The Dream Daughter. If you haven't read The Dream Daughter, read The Dream Daughter, everybody.
Okay.
Who's that by?
Okay.
Diane Chamberlain,
Yeah, I did
another
read
great
that.
women's fiction author.
I meant to put that on
What'd
my
you say?
Goodreads, too.
Were you
What'd you say,
reading
Brie?
her recently? You were reading Diane Chamberlain,
I
right?
did read one of hers recently. Yeah, The Shadow Wife. That one is so good.
I be keeping up with my friends. I need to know.
Yes.
What you're reading.
Yeah. Have you read The Dream Daughter, Brie?
No, but I need to. I like
Yes.
travel.
It's about a woman in like the 70s, maybe. She gets pregnant and her baby has a heart condition or something. Like they know in utero she has a heart condition. And so if she's born in the 70s, she'll die. And so she figures out how to time travel to the future where they have the technology to help her baby.
Okay, that's really fascinating.
Yeah,
It is so good, you guys. So
I'm gonna
good.
look that one up.
In your video, that was one of the books. Jeremy had to guess.
Yes,
Oh, okay.
yes. Which he was way more like in tune with. I mean, he did better than I thought he would have.
Yeah,
I
just
have
watched
one
that
where
one.
Laura Roberts did like traveling to the future, and I guess it's an old one of hers, and it's like one of the few.
Is that the one? Or no?
It's called
For
Time.
year one or something?
It's like Time and Time Again or something. I'll
Okay.
send it to you when we
Okay.
get off here. So you mean Outlander? That happens in an Outlander book. Oh wait, which one happens? What happens in Outlander?
Time travel,
Everything.
I think.
Time
go
travel's huge.
She goes back. Okay, yeah, I haven't read
Back
that.
and forth and back and yeah.
I haven't read Outlander.
Those are too darn
I
big
think
for
so.
me.
Oh, they're so good.
They're just so big.
Oh my god, they're so good.
Maybe that.
My sister loves them too.
Listen to them on audio. All 50 hours of them each. Totally worth it.
50 hours. Oh gosh.
Set a week aside.
Just cancel your plans for a week.
Do you prefer romance series or romance standalones?
Standalones.
Oh, you're right, Nicole. It does. In Outlander, they go to the future to save a daughter who has a heart condition. Yes, you are right.
Oh, Nicole would know. You know it
Yeah.
all, Nicole.
Right?
I think I like standalone or series, Sarah. Rainey, which one?
Well, I would say probably standalones, just because although I don't know. I've started reading some series and I like them.
Mhm.
Like I like the To Manhattan with Love series so far.
It gets
And
better.
yeah, and I've read Pride Prejudice. Well, I haven't read Pride Prejudice and Other Flavors yet. I'm going to, and Recipe for Persuasion. So that's kind of a series. So yes, I like.
I'm just here to show off the books.
I read them on script, so I never have anything to like show people.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I do like series, but I haven't read enough of them yet, I guess, to really know like if I would prefer that over a standalone.
I am like a marathoner. I need to start and finish it like with reading very little or nothing in between. And so when I start it, I just like get stressed out. Like, wait, what if I want to read something different in the middle and I can't because I have to marathon this, and it just like stresses me out. So I mean, I like some series, but I really prefer standalones to just know like I can be done with this after this book.
Mm-hmm.
Or short series like duologies or trilogies.
Mm-hmm.
Have you all read the Lakeshore Chronicles by Susan Wiggs?
Yes, I saw that question. I
have
read
them.
that years ago, but it's best, in my opinion, to start at book 1 which is Summer at Willow Lake, because you meet a character in that first book named Daisy, who's only 13, and then as the series progresses, she ages, and you watch her story, and then when it gets to her book, it's just all the happiness, and it's just delightful. But yeah, they are wonderful. Absolutely wonderful.
That's one of the series I own, but it's so long that I'm scared to start it.
It's really good. Really, really, we really like it.
Alpha or cinnamon roll, and Nicole said Alpha who's eating a cinnamon roll.
Of course, Nicole.
Okay.
Oh, Nicole, you're going to be on another one of these with me, right?
I think I agree with Nicole. Sounds okay.
Yeah, a little bit of both.
Yeah, or neither. Like I don't like either extreme.
I don't like alphas. I'm sorry. I really don't. Something just gets my back up when they start saying stuff, and I'm just like,
Yeah, I think I would prefer a cinnamon roll.
Smack your face,
Yeah.
like.
So, what do you guys think is the perfect length for a contemporary novel to be?
Not 485 pages, Bree.
480 pages.
Yeah, Bree just read a long one.
Oh. Yeah,
I think right around 350 pages.
Yeah, that's the max.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
350 should be it.
Yeah, I agree.
331 pages.
Random number. 331.
I think like 250 to 350. I almost shouted 9 inches. Oh, shoot.
Oh, Nicole.
Oh, Nicole.
Nicole.
I'm there with you, girl. That's all I've been consuming. The shorter, the better.
Mm-hmm. You're selling yourself short there, Nicole.
Sarah.
Oh, man.
Yeah, the one that I read that I've been reading the past couple days, I think just knowing how long it was, I was like, oh my gosh, I do not want to read this.
It's daunting.
book. Yeah. I mean, and it got at the end, I was like, okay, wow, it did a really good job. I got the bigger picture. And I don't really think anything could have been cut out because she's traveling to these different countries, like Around the World in 80 Days, that book. She's like retracing his steps. But still, I was just like, 480 pages is a lot.
Yeah.
Contemporary novel.
And have you guys
20-page novellas.
It's true. And have you guys noticed too? I've noticed this a lot more, that a lot of contemporaries lately are coming out. Like I noticed with the Annie Rains, that you're getting a bonus short story, and the Maisie Yates are doing it too. And I'm like, just please don't do that, because it screws up my page count. Because I'm not reading the short story. I'm reading the, I need to know how many books are in this story.
Yep.
A lot of the Christmas romances from last year had the bonus stories in the back. It's huge. And then you look and it's like, oh, well, 200 of the pages is something else.
That's right.
I read a book. What was it? Oh, it was, have you guys read the I Heart series by Lindsay Kelk?
I've been watching you read it, so I feel like I've been reading it.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Because so there's a character in it that is her best friend, and her name is Jenny Lopez, and I hate her. And she has a novella that is called Jenny Lopez Has a Bad Week. And so I'm reading it and I'm like, and then it just ends at 40%. And the rest was something different. And I'm like, 40%? And thankfully I had it, like our library, I think, had it on Libby. But I'm like, if I would have paid like $3 or $4 and saw that I'm actually, like, it was 180 pages or something, but 62 were the actual story. And I'm like, I would have been pissed if I would have paid $3 or $4 for that.
Absolutely.
If you could
especially because I didn't like it.
Authors, who would you read?
Oh.
You mean this month?
Yeah, right. Like this weekend.
I should probably bow out of this because I don't know any of the romance authors.
That's okay.
Lorraine.
What?
Who would you read? That's
Well, for me, it would be Jane. She's romance, Jane Austen.
Mhm.
I don't know. I'm so bad with like actual authors, and I'm only.
I'm so bad with decisions.
Yeah, that too.
Well, yeah, that too. Yeah. Let me look at what I've read. I mean,
I
I
had a
could say
feeling you'd.
Shakespeare. What? What'd you say, Sarah?
No, I was just saying, Nicole. I'm not surprised she said Sandra Brown.
Yeah, right.
That's like me saying Sarah Morgan or Jill Shalvis or Maisie Yates. There we go. There's three.
So, you guys, I was thinking about all of my bookish friends, and I can almost like Bree. You are Jill Shalvis. Sarah, I don't know who you are. You've got a few for me, but Nicole is definitely Sandra Brown. Bree from In Love and Words is Mariana Zapata.
Mhm.
Like it's like so many people have very like I associate you with one author as your go-to, and I love that.
Mhm.
well, a lot of the people that I've read, I learned because of Sarah. So Susan,
Yeah.
Jill Shalvis, all the Harlequins. I don't know.
Oh,
if
another
my
one I would say.
though. Tamika is Brianna Hale. Is it Brianna Hale or Haley? Aletha Romig for Steph, Kennedy Ryan, Megan Quinn. Yeah, I knew Aletha Romig would be on
Yeah,
there.
Kennedy Ryan and Steph. I just kind of put the two together.
There's Ainsley.
Aw.
She says, "Who you talking to?" She's funny.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna start working on her Heartbreaker Bay series next.
Mhm.
Not Heartbreaker Bay, Lucky Harbor. Lucky Harbor. I
Mhm.
finished Heartbreaker Bay. So I've been slowly hauling those books and I'm excited, but I know she's not done with Heartbreaker Bay, so I'm just like waiting on the next book to come out. But it's just cool to like have an author and you want to read all their old books. And I feel like I have so much to choose from,
Mhm.
I felt that way when I found these on Book Outlet. 2 old Sarah Morgan Christmas ones.
Ooh.
So
Yeah, I feel like Sarah Morgan's got to be one of the choices because she writes a new Christmas one like almost every year, and so at least then you would have that genre covered.
I'm thinking I haven't read a lot of her yet, but the couple I have read from her I really like, so she might be one of my
Yeah, I like her a lot.
ones.
Oh, hello.
Presley.
Kitty.
That's
Aw.
Presley.
I'm gonna knock the whole computer over.
Oh my God, the wedding in December that was last year
Was last year's.
so good.
Did you like that or Christmas Sisters better?
I liked A Wedding in December better, I think.
I like Christmas Sisters better.
Because there was a scene in The Wedding in December that's hilarious when they walk in on the parents. It was just so good, but Christmas Sisters was good too. I mean, she can just put out whatever she wants at Christmas.
Right?
She can
Yeah.
write about, taking toilet paper downstairs, and I'm going to read it.
That's what I'd say about Kristen Higgins. She can write a grocery list and I'll freaking read it.
With Sarah, and you guys, Sarah Morgan, last year I posted an Instagram picture of me reading Wedding in December, and she commented right back. And like, I don't really do Instagram. I barely have any followers. And like she, just the fact that she like takes the time to acknowledge people in that way is so cool.
She does. She is so fantastic. I know, was it last year or the year before she posted that she was at the Harlequin offices downtown Toronto? And she says, "Oh, I'm in front of the Suits building," or wherever it is and I wrote, and I'm like, "I'm just around the corner," like joking. And she's like, and she says, she wrote back saying, "Waving to you." And I just thought she's so personable with her readers.
Yeah.
And that's such a good thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Faith said, "I love the Christmas movie, The Family Stone. Anyone have book recommendations like that?"
I've never seen
yes. So it's about, basically all the kids are going home for Christmas. So I would say the Christmas sisters can kind of be like that. They all go home for Christmas. One of them like brings a fiance or girlfriend or something, and she doesn't fit in. And like, there's a lot of stuff that happens that I don't want to talk about, but, so Faith, are you just meaning books where like the whole family comes home for Christmas, or what do you mean? Because I would say Christmas Sisters is kind of that way. Save the Date by Morgan Matson, if you're at all into kind of YA. That one I thought was really good. It's about a family. There's 5 kids. They all come back for a wedding, and there's a lot of similar like familial drama and stuff going on at that time. It's not Christmassy, but
like a spin on 16 Candles, where the sisters getting married kind of
I've
thing.
never seen it.
Oh, you gotta watch it.
I know. That's one of the classics that I have not seen.
There's some like sketchy stuff,
Yeah.
but it's so good. I need to read that. I love Morgan Matson's Second Chance Summer and Since You've Been Gone, but I never read Save the Date, or the one that came out before that with the girl and the dogs on the cover.
Since You've Been Gone annoyed me because that best friend was like, what, like who died and made her queen? You know?
The main character was obsessed with her.
Yes.
You have to, Chloe. The same premise with the family drama around Christmas. I feel like
I'm trying to think. I know I have read a lot, but Christmas Sisters. I don't know. Faith, I'll get back to you on that if I think of anything throughout the rest of this.
Yeah,
which I should probably go put Ainsley down, but
a lot of Christmas stuff is like somebody inherited a B&B.
Yep.
Usually somebody's going home, but it's like just that one character, and it, I don't know. Yeah, get back. So yeah. So you have to put Ainsley down. Should we wrap?
Yeah. I don't know. I'm trying to get Jeremy to do it, and then I'll just run in and say goodnight and come back. But if we're about to wrap up, I'll just go do it.
Want to do one more what if? Or
All
would
right.
you rather? And then we'll sign off.
Let's do one more. Dang it, I feel like it has to be a really good one now, but I don't know. All right. No, we already did that one. Hold on, y'all. Okay. Would you rather wait 5 years for the final installment in a series? Chloe, I know that's going to drive you nuts.
Yeah.
Or get it now, but must read every spoiler before you can start reading it.
Actually, no, I'm going to say the first one, and I just won't even start it for 5 years.
Yeah. It takes me 5 years to get through a series, so I'll wait the 5 years.
I'm going to be contrary and say the other
spoilers.
one. Yeah, because I honestly, like, if I watch a movie or something, I would rather you spoil me
Yes.
so that I don't have to sit through something I'm not going to like.
That's true.
That's fair. That's fair.
I don't care about spoilers. Just tell me.
Yep. My ex used to do a lot of extra work in movies, and he'd always want me to watch them for like the 5 seconds that he'd be in the film, whatever. So, but they'd always be movies that like I wouldn't want to watch. So I'd be like, okay, tell me what happens. Tell me if there's gory stuff, because if there's gory stuff, I don't care if I'm going to see the back of your heads for 5 seconds. I'm not going to watch it.
Yep.
They're like, why do you want to be spoiled? I'm like, because I don't want to see blood.
Because I really don't care that much.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, because I really don't care. It's like, I love you, but I don't.
Spoilers.
Yeah.
It's like, I can see the back of your head anytime I want.
Right.
All right, let's ask one more. I have to know.
Okay.
Wait, hold on just a second. Faith, I think also the Winter Street series is another one that I just thought of. Sorry. I wanted to throw that out there before we get into the next one.
I'm just tripping that I can't think of any Christmas books for her right now. But I feel all the ones that I read have the same plot line. Like
so many do that where it's like family going home.
Okay.
Or I'm sorry, 7 Days of Us by Francesca something or another. I don't really like her that much, or I didn't really like the book that much, but I know a lot of other people did. So that's another one, and they're quarantined. So that's kind of interesting.
Hmm.
You know what? A lot of the ones I read last year, I didn't really like. I read
Yeah.
a lot and I wasn't. They didn't feel Christmassy to me, and I just didn't like a lot. The last Christmas book I read in 2019 was my favorite, and it was the last one that I read.
What was it?
The Claus in Christmas by Rachel Bloom.
I want to read that one. I've got it.
That was the
Gotta get
one
to
that
this year.
felt Christmassy. Like she was real descriptive with like the snow and the smells and what they were doing.
Mm-hmm.
Finally, it only took 21 books. Okay. Would you rather reread your least favorite book monthly or never be able to read your favorite book again?
Never be able to read my favorite book again.
Can I get it on audio?
Yeah.
Because then I'll just put it on in the background. I'm not paying attention half the time anyway. Yeah. I've got children screaming at me 90 hours of the day. Speaking of which, so Jeremy nails it on anniversary gifts for some reason. Like it's like his chance to shine. And so this year, our anniversary is yesterday, and he got me AirPods, and I didn't even I didn't even know I wanted them, and they're amazing, and they're noise canceling, so I can't hear what's going on around me, and that's great.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Happy anniversary.
Yeah. He got a Super Nintendo one year, and I'm like, oh my gosh. I think it was the year before we had Ainsley, so I did a lot of Super Nintendo playing.
Yeah.
And now, just recently, Ainsley was like, what's that? And I was like, Jeremy actually was like, that's something Mom and Dad used to do when we had free time.
This was like well, it's been fun. Thank y'all for hanging out.
This has been so
Thank
fun.
so
You
much,
guys,
everybody.
happy Friday.
Happy Friday. I'm going to keep trying to do this every week. So DM me, anybody who might want to appear in one of these or whatever. I'm more than happy.
I'm like designating people. Shannon can do it. Tia
Yes.
can do it. Jess.
Nicole.
Yeah, Tia, I need to see you on some live shows.
Yep.
Heck yes.
Hit me up and we'll figure out a schedule and what works for everybody.
Call me out, girl.
And Sarah, congratulations on 2K.
Thank you.
Yay!
It was so funny. I was telling the girls I was at 199 and I showed Garrett and he goes, oh, I'm not subscribed to you. And he is subscribed. So he's the one who pushed me to 2,000.
Thank you, Garrett.
I'm like, why weren't you number one?
Yeah, right?
But again, thank you all so very much.
Woohoo.
And we'll talk to y'all later.
Okay, thank you.
Bye, everybody.
Thank you. All right.
Bye.
Bye.